Hello and welcome back to Oak City. This is our Plains and Prairies playthrough with ABG Farms on Farming Simulator 25. I think we are on episode 7 now at this point. And as you can see, it has started snowing. We are in December. So kind of a situation report or what we got to. We did turn around and get our two fields here and our canola field harvested there. With that, that gave us enough money and resources all together that we did turn around and pick up these two fields and also harvest those. So we do now have the 5 fields coming down there and then the starting fields, but we have picked up a fair amount of ground. So we're going to get going with that. We have some equipment to buy this month, and we are obviously also going to go off and sell all of our goods that we have made up until this point, as we do need some money. We are going to have to pick up a fertilizer. Our grass fields are going to need to be fertilized. We can kind of go down, look at soil there and see where we're at. We are going to need to fertilize these, get the second coat on those before they are going to be ready to harvest. So we'll have to do that this month. So that we need to pick up for sure, which is actually going to be another, I don't think we even have enough money if we're going to go with the Plains and Prairies sprayer, which is kind of the goal. So I think what we're going to do at this point is basically head on out in our fairly new dump truck and go sell pretty much everything we can make some money on and see where that gets us. It is December, so like kind of had said before, we are playing with the seasons off, but we're kind of giving that our own season. So we're going to say that at least December and January are too frozen to do, any kind of real planting or harvesting, that kind of stuff. So we won't be doing any of that this or next month. So selling off what we have and kind of prepping groundwork. We do have those new fields and prepping those for next season's planting, I think, is going to be our big goal. We need a bigger, better road in here for sure. And would like to start decorating some of the ground in here as well, but just don't currently have the money to spend on it. So we will just kind of head out this way. I'm going to turn around and sell off what we have to sell off quick. These we know we can basically just push over. Liftable pallets and bales. And we have that set up convenient enough. So 30 grand on the push in there, which should be good. Obviously, we have the whole wheat bread going here, and then we do have corn in there. This is, I suppose, the first time we're selling the corn. So these are the corn tortillas that we get out, which do produce a fair good chunk of money. Obviously, depending on when you sell it, but they're almost always a pretty good chunk of money, to be honest. One of my favorite productions to run. You can see we get the 33,000 on wheat bread rows. We have a whole roll of wheat bread, and we'll see what the difference is there. About the same. So they are all pretty much paying the same, whether it's going to be wheat or corn. Now, why are we so much wheat bread and not corn? I thought we had... There we go. There is our corn. Yeah, 33. So actually the corn's selling for a little less than the wheat bread right now. Not a bad way to go. But we're obviously making a good chunk of money by the time we're getting these all shoved in there. I mean, we're already up about 200K. Great little production. Runs through a lot of stuff, so it will make you a lot of money, but it will burn through things really fast too, which is great if you got a lot. If you don't, you're going to make your money in a short amount of time and then just have to turn the industry off. But in this case, it's definitely getting us where we needed to go. I didn't think we were going to make it anywhere near this amount of money. Yeah, we're easily up 200,000. Not a bad way to go. emptied out, so we'll just grab that one. And we'll do this. Up, up, up. Bam. I can't believe that. We're actually up almost $300,000, 40 grand for that last set right there. So that definitely paid off and is going to give us the money that we needed for sure. And we still haven't actually even gotten and sold our bioplastics. So that's a winner. Do know from looking at the prices, if I remember right, January is going to be our high mark for selling our bioplastics, so we might actually get away with not selling it this month. We'll just have to see how much our equipment is that we're going to need to pick up, but I think I will turn around and get this to the barn, and then I suppose grab a tractor. We'll get some new gear. I don't know if we're going to sell. We do have that 12-meter plow. I guess we're going to actually think about, we have the 12-meter plow. We could start plowing in with that, although I think we're going to upsize that because just in the interest of time and sanity, I think we will upsize that. So that's our 12-meter plow, which we did use for smaller field stuff, but I don't think we're really going to need that. So it's in an really bad spot. Yeah, we'll just turn around and pick it up quick. We'll pick it up quick and then we'll go do some shopping. So here we are back. Having spent a little money, did a little bit of shopping, turned around and picked up a plow here. So we did pick up the big Lizard. It's like the, the SMB or SM82. It's the big plow. A lot of people use it. Very common. Been around. Pretty sure it was in 22 and others. So that's going to help us turn around and pick up a lot of speed, obviously, when it comes to plowing under fields, making fields, and all the rest of it. So that was a big part of our pickup. That was around $90,000. Obviously, you see that we spent a ton more money, which is right there. We did pick up the new Fend sprayer, so that is part of the Plains and Prairies pack, which honestly haven't been in this one yet, have not used it yet, just kind of checking it out. Looks cool. Take a look around inside quick. Be kind of neat one to check out for sure. All that one does should make fertilizing pretty quick and easy. Set that one up for liquid. We will just be kind of heading out, going to turn around and get some field work started. We don't have to fertilize just yet. We do have to fertilize by the end of the month though, so that's going to be the thing there. Letting all that go by. This plow requires, I believe it's 375 horsepower, 400 on the tractor, so we should have enough to cover it, is the hope. Not a lot extra in there, but a little bit anyway. Oh, that's gonna probably be a problem. No, we're good. Sneaking by it. That is the one thing with this plow, is where that's about as small as you're going to get. So if you run into traffic problems, it is not necessarily fun getting this plow around. Bit of a bummer that it doesn't fold any more than that. But yeah, honestly, if you're using this plow, it's probably for some bigger projects. So this is kind of that first field. Let's try not to take out the fence there. Being December, we can't really do much other than kind of just start prepping things. So that is going to be our goal. As you can see, we have field 94 and 95 here. So together we're looking at 27. Obviously, we're going to lose a bit to the rim, but we'll call that 27. About 10, 37, we'll say it's maybe 33, 34 acre, 30 acres. It's probably closer to 35, but we'll say it's somewhere in there. how the trick is going to be if our tractor can get away with it. All right, we are just gonna set this up, do this the easy way. We'll set up steering. Yeah, good. Drop that. Get that going. And then once we kind of get that set on a straight line, we will turn around and allow it to start creating fields when we get down. I guess we're going to let's just stick with this field edge for now. We could turn around and obviously be getting one more edge on it, but we'll turn around and see what we get out of the field before we worry about adding one row or two rows, because we could just be adding one or two rows that are inconvenient to plant, harvest, and the rest of it. So I think it's going to be really easy to add a little bit of width to the field if we want to later on, but we'll turn around and see what we get kind of out of the stock. The stock arrangement, I guess, is going to be the thing. Seems like the tractor is handling it okay. I wouldn't say that it's got a lot more in the tank. It is screaming about it pretty good. Working over, but it should get the job done. Get some fields turned over and started for us. We won't be planting anything, as I said, through the winter, or the winter freeze, as we're going to call it. Still haven't really decided whether we're going to extend that out to through February as well, or if we're going to say, second half of February we could start planting. February, March, kind of getting into the plant season, depending on, how lucky you get with the weather. Is just kind of how we're going to play this one out. Try to kind of keep it that way. Might go with official seasons on as we get later in, but just for now we're going to kind of play on our own. So we are approaching the fence here, which, multiple fences actually. See if we can get that out in time. Oops, that is not a field. We're actually not going to plow that field together, so we're going to have to fix that. This side, we are not going to even have to allow the field, so that's convenient. Kind of getting ahead of myself there. Did not need to do that. That's okay, we can fix it. It's going to cost a little bit of money to do that, but not the end of the world. Kind of forgot these two didn't actually have a fence in between them, although that would make life a lot easier to get in between there, but I do think we'll just pay the penalty and try to fix the fence if we can. There. It's not the intention to take that one out. Alright, here we're going to allow to create fields. And then we'll kind of try to sling this across here. I don't know if we can get that anywhere near how we'll want it to look. Oh, I guess actually taking out that fence is not so bad, because that actually would have gotten close. We can actually move the fence over a little bit there. Okay, we'll take that out of creating field at this point, so we don't mess things up too bad. Again, we can always come in, add, create, and fix more to this later. Let's get this moved over just a bit. And then we'll send that one down. Okay, we will, yeah. Actually, I'm okay with, let's see if we can take a look. How does this? Yeah, I think we'll definitely go in and re-add some of the fence. Got a little punch happy there, I guess, taking out the fence. This does not have a fence in between it. Didn't need to take that out. So we'll run this one down this way just to kind of create this edge. That'll get the border of it set, if you will. Nice straight edge on this field, so we're not gonna allow to create a field until we get right up to the edge there, and we have to. Fences are kind of close to the field here, to be honest. Not super. I mean, that's getting pretty close in field terms. All right, here we will allow to create fields. See if we can get a decent lineup here. There we go. That actually came out okay. Again, pretty close. Oops, we are way over now. We're not on the. We're definitely not on it. But that's okay. We got a decent transition across the two. So there. And send it. Now we only need to create field for a very small part as we skip along. The rest of it, we are just going to be plugging that in. So that's kind of the border of the field. Yeah, we can see we just barely have anything going on there. That'll be a good spot to look. So those will be the first two, and we'll get that fence replaced. And then we will catch back up with you. Figured we would jump in here as this is the section that's going to mainly tie the two fields together as we are finishing that up. So we did just get a slight sliver of it there, and we will be grabbing up the rest of it pretty much right here. Is going to bring the remainder of the field together. As the right side of the plow there is the wilderness chunk of ground, if you will, or the wild that was in between the two fields. The old field access, if you will, field road, getting turned into field. No point in wasting it. Again, as we said in the start of this series, this is going to be trying to get to big fields or working all big fields. So this is the start of our quest for that. Plowing multiple fields together, trying to get away from working, honestly, any of the independent fields or the single fields at this point, except the ones we were given there on the farm. Not much we can do with those. We have other plans, mainly for at least the two small fields here. We have the back two fields that probably will get plowed into much more as well. So in the long run, we will only be working fields that would be multiple chunks of land for the most part anyway. That's the plan. So there we go. That kind of brings them together. I just kind of figured I'd cover that. We do obviously have the two little swipe pieces in there, but we're going to get those on just straight back and forth, and then we will be back in it. So here we are on the last swipe of the field, the last up and down. Gonna get the field completed with this pass for sure. Do have a little section in there yet to tie together, but that will be about it. And then we'll be moving on to the next field there. Just about getting it all done here in the snow. Early beginnings of the December month. We have plenty to prepare for, though we do have January as well, so we don't have to get it all done this month. Do not want to miss anything here. There we go, a little bit of wheel spin. This tractor will definitely run this plow, though it is not overpowered or over anything for doing it. It's just getting it done. Is kind of how it seems. What's good use for this tractor, if nothing else? It will be a plow tractor. I'm sure a tractor with around 400 horsepower you can generally find a use for at some place on the farm. So, you know, can't go too wrong with having one of these. Would be my assessment of it. Alright, let's turn that off, get it back just to fields. Yes, we are good there. That way we don't have to worry about it doing anything accidentally as we go along. Fences are fixed, so we will turn around and fold this up as we get that one done. Raise that, fold that. We might as well head down this way while it's doing that. Tractor really gonna rock around folding that thing up. Not a huge tractor for running this plow. Let's see if we can sneak through the traffic here. Somebody stop. We're not wrecking the fence. Don't. Traffic around here. Is it really honking at me? Wow. Bro. I mean, alright, we did kind of cut out in front of them there, but come on, man. Go ahead and drop that down. We are just on field, so we will click that and send it, right? Yeah, we're good. Send it. Alright, everything going good there. Looking good. Plowing up the dirt, that's for sure. We will, on this field, now have to come in and delete the fence. So, let's get rid of that. And hopefully we didn't make any errors this time. We're going to have to allow this to create a field as we get to the end here too. We're going to have to figure out how do we want to deal with this end, actually. Let me see. Because that's going to be a janky connection if we just run that over. So we don't want to do that. Let's go in here. See what we can straighten out before we actually even get in there. I think that's... I want to say that's this. Yeah, that's this. Okay. So if we take that... and we get rid of that. Let's shrink that down. I think we're going to be that far over. I think we are going to give up some field here, but we're going to have a better edge when it's all said and done. So that's fine. And we'll let that live somewhere in there for now. And then we're just going to... oh, we're not on creating a field. That's not going to work. Let's back up on here so we can use this. Of course, the problem is this is coming at a bit of an angle. Alright, let's allow to create fields, and then we'll just try to keep it somewhere in here and keep it a decent edge. all the way down if we can. We didn't. Alright, there things are looking good. Getting a little too far. Bring this right up to the edge. There we go. I think we're happy with that for now. Not too horrible. That didn't really go the way that I wanted it to, but alright, we'll turn that off, and then we'll just go plow from here. Actually, while we're here, let's turn around and fix that, because we don't want it like that. We do not really want that little bit to stick out. Not what we're looking for. We would like a decent edge here. Just gonna try to whittle that away a little bit there. Groovy. There we go. We'll take that. And then we'll jump back in it. The snow is kind of coming on and off. I think the snow is starting to end, but not yet, maybe. Get that across here. We are bringing these two fields together, so we have the 14-acre field there and about a 10-acre field here. So we should get to around 22, 23 usable acres. Maybe something like that. So we will be getting in basically 20 here. Let's say we'll run this down to 20, or on the other one up to 45. So we are adding, you know, a fair amount of ground here into two fields. Nothing overwhelming or spectacular at this point, but a pretty good start for our first real fields. Still have a bit before we're going to get these planted, but we are creating our first fields. Groundbreaking stuff. Uh-oh. Picked up the plow, didn't put it down. There, and let's get on it. There we go. We're just mainly going to keep the edge here. Looks like we'll have a little bit up there. See if we can get up here and actually get rid of. We will want the edge to be somewhere back in there. Alright, and then this we are going to snap to creating fields right about the last second we can do that. Right there. Alright, then we'll come across. We're just going to drive this manually for this part. Hopefully we can get it to line up somewhere decent that we like. What's the deal there? Is that right about? Alright, then we're going to go back to limiting to fields just to stay in the lines now from here to the end. So that'll kind of be that edge. That's not too bad. I guess we bulge out a little bit there. We could have taken off a little more. We might trim that up. or wide. Well, we're not going to do a lot of widening here with the fence. So we might trim that back down a little bit over there just so we get a little cleaner edge. Although it's got a little bow in the field anyway. We'll just kind of see how it shapes out when it plants and stuff. Not going to worry about the first turnover of the field too much. Just looking to get the fields created here is more the thing. Also, we do have, you know, not to reiterate on it, but we do have the month of January to turn around and come in and clean things up. So just have to get the rough ends here in December is kind of the idea. But I think with that one, that's pretty much going to show us the border there of that field. I suppose we could come down to plowing. Show you good there. So we will get this plowed in, and then there is our other creation so far at this point. So looking good there. Decent edge down that field. Not too bad. So yeah, I think we'll get this one turned around and plowed in, and then we will check back with it. So that finishes up that field there. That's the second field. Number 2, catching the fence ever so slightly there. Yeah, but that does take care of the second field for the month. We do have that one other canola field that we are going to turn into, I think that one's going to be our grass field really for these cows is going to be the goal there. So we would want to get that turned over and ready to plant for grass as well. Obviously with seasons we wouldn't be doing that at this time, so we're good. That's another one we're not going to plant just because it's grass. Doesn't make any difference. So we will turn around and get this field prepped for that, but not planted yet. So we are still running off of those first few grass fields that we put in. As of now, I mean, we only have 50 cows, so not a problem. We don't need extra for anything. We're gonna limit this one to the fields. We don't want to do anything new here. This one we just simply want to turn over and get ready to plant is going to be the goal there. So yeah, you can see, you know, between the two, probably somewhere around 65, 67 acres of farmland that we now have ready to plant, which is going to certainly be convenient for planting season this year. Help us get moving along for sure. Now you can see we just have this small little field. Well, I shouldn't say super small, let's be honest. It is, well, 12. It is pretty small still. Well, 12-acre farm or field. By the time you take care of the border stuff like that, probably working 11 acres, 10, 11 acres, something like that in here, I would assume. But that should give us what we need for a decent grass harvest, I would think. Take care of quite a few cows off of that. And then it will be handy, convenient, and nearby. I think this is pretty much the last plow fields that we have to do for the month. So we will drag this plow through this one last field and then be back with you. Here we are bringing down the last run on this field. That one really did not take too long. Obviously, big plow. We did leave the tip down here, just too difficult to kind of get into that cram of the space. We could get in there, but not really worth playing it. Just going to let it go for now. So that we will get folded up. That we will get picked up off of the ground. And then we will head out of here. So you can see that is going to finish that, and that. All three fields are in. 65. Yeah, probably around 75 acres that we have gotten plowed now this month. So obviously the big plow paying off, making things a lot easier to do. kind of digging our way across the field here. This plow is definitely enough work for this tractor. I do think with the setup of this plow, it makes sense that we're probably just going to leave it up here for now, rather than trying to finagle through traffic back to the farm with this one for no real reason. We don't need it there. Got everything in. We own this property, so nothing wrong with using a little bit of storage space on it for now. We'll drop that there. We will send this back. I suppose we actually could have just left it probably down with the plow here, but we'll get it back. Yeah, because this is the big one. We definitely will get the big one back. Nice look at the field we planted. Actually, we're going to end up driving along all of the fields that we planted here. Had considered putting all 4 of these into one, but as you can see, we have the road there in between the 2 fields, and it does appear to be a pretty high traffic road by the, AI. So we're not going to try to take out any fields like that, or any kind of roads like that is the idea. Anything that they're mainly driving on. We have field access roads on this map, and then we have actually like driving roads on. So where we see the AI driving, we're kind of going to use those for wall effectively. Things we're not going to take out. Public roads we don't own and can't just till under is kind of the thought process there. So we're going to run this down, and then we will turn around and get our hands on the sprayer and go see what kind of mess we can make with that one. Here we are at the Fend sprayer. You can see pretty tall. It's actually not as tall as the other one. Well, about the same height probably as the big sprayer in the base game. Does look pretty groovy, I have to say. It looks cool. Now let's actually go see how well it functions and what it does. Anything crazy going on here that we see? Nothing too crazy. You definitely can set this thing up in a host of different ways. It's just absolutely solid sprayer, liquid sprayer, a couple other options in there. How much you want the tank to hold, engines. It's got options, so unique setup for whatever the case may be that you're using it for. Basically just try to stretch it out for about as much as it can get out of it for everything. $506,000 in this configuration, so not a cheap sprayer by any stretch of the words. As it sits right now, I'll be shocked if this is my favorite sprayer in the game or anything, just because it does seem like it's a little overpriced for what it is, but we will see what we get out of it. You never know. Sometimes the piece of equipment you don't think you're gonna like, you end up absolutely falling in love with. So maybe that's the case here. We'll just have to see. What do we have for lighting? Alright, good lighting. It's actually shining off. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Decent. Like the lighting's cool on it all the way around. Good, nice and bright. Wait a minute. Oh, wait. Didn't we just fill it? No. Bought it and then sat here and didn't fill it because I was filling around with the lights. Yeah. Figures. Totally makes sense. Looks great. Alright. Wow. Wait, this thing doesn't haul anywhere near as much as I thought it did. Are you really? Wow, that's not a lot at all. That's about half as much as the big one. I think the big one holds 8,000 liters, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, I guess let's just go see what we get. Maybe it's more efficient or something like that. I don't know. Otherwise, if it just holds less but costs a lot more and sprays less width, this is probably not going to be my favorite spray. Ooh, no matter what it looks like. Alright, the boom's groovy. You can get this thing set up for like solid fertilizer as well. So you could always go that route with it. Alright, there we are. And we'll get that spraying. That does not seem to be going down a lot slower. And again, the boom doesn't cover anywhere near as much territory. But it should make quick work out of these fields either way. Super expensive for what it does, though. That is my first take on it. Although I don't know how that's working. We've gone through 2%. So maybe it really does go through less fertilizer, and that's the payoff. I mean, if we're only going through 3%. Yeah, that's way less. And we have a lot less in here. Whoa, don't get nuts, turn that off. Too many things all happening at one time, but we saved it. Right, let's go ahead and spray like this up into the corner. Would appear that it's got plenty of horsepower to get wherever you want to go. Decent maneuverability to get you back where you need to be once you go where you want to go. Brakes seem good. Power seems good. It really, I mean, 5%. I know, I gotta say that going through the big red fertilizer would have gone through way more than that on a field this size, because it dumps faster. It just does. So maybe there's something to this thing being smart and efficient, you know? May get much more out of your fertilizer. Maybe that has something to do with the smart system. I don't know. At this point, I have no real complaints. I mean, 6% to do a field that size is not bad. And obviously, the more you don't spray, the less you have to buy. And so then you're saving money all the time is the deal there. I think this will wrap up quick enough. We'll probably just stick with it here. Get some good looks at the rolling fields. Sprayer in action. Do have a chill December day here, but nothing too crazy, or month of December. Snowing. Our work's almost done, so at this point, if something crazy does happen, we are not going to have to be out working in it. We are pretty low on cash, as you can see. We have gone from couple million to pretty broke. Wait a minute. Let's just ride this. There we go, up over the hill. We might not have gotten a perfect sliver there. I bet we missed a little bit. Yeah, we sure did, but not too bad. We can either clean it up on the other end, or honestly, if we left it there, it wouldn't even be that big a deal. It is grass, after all. So, not that picky about the yield here. Where I didn't think I was going to super like this sprayer, though, I have to say, efficiency is fun. So, at least for me. So, if it's efficient, I might dig it, because we could spray a lot less. Have to spray a lot less, and that's a winner. And there we go. Last charge up and down the field. Try to touch up those little spots there. Actually, I think we'll just leave it. It isn't even a big deal. We're gonna go with the thing that, like, it's really not that big a deal when it comes to this grass. That's for sure. Still no real demand for the grass, as we have plenty. We will just be selling off excess anyway. Alright, gets that done. That means we can fold this up. Ooh. We're gonna go to pick up the tree. That's hilarious, the way that that folds up. Yeah, so if you do have anything out in front of you, make sure it's directly out in front of you when you fold this thing up, or you will be smacking it. That is for sure. Alright, run this one across here. Other things that we have to do this month. I suppose we could do more field prep, or we could turn around and sell off. We could try to sell off our plastics. The thing is, they are a higher revenue next month, so I think if we can put that off and sell them then, that's probably a better plan. And we're gonna have to start looking at something to do with the farm here, so that we can actually get stuff put away in a fashion where, like, you know, get it a home kind of thing, rather than just pulling it in and putting it wherever that we are doing at this point. So kind of take in where we're at. We did sell off our monthly product. We have our bio plastics that I don't think we're going to sell yet. We're starting to get a stockpile there, so we will be moving it one way or another next month. But again, it's a case of, if we come in and we look at any sort of pricing for it, it's only going to go up to the next month. So we are going to wait on that. Nothing's stopping us from doing it. We don't have anything going on in January. We don't really have to spend the money on anything. We did upgrade plow. We also picked up the big sprayer there, so advantage on that one. That kind of fills in the rest of our, like, absolutely needed equipment. I think we could always turn around and spray for herbicide. We could spray herbicide along with the sprayer, so we don't really need a separate weeder, but that is also something we could pick up. Of course, at this point, we're at 74,000, so I don't think we're picking up much unless we move things along or sell it. But I think that kind of finishes out, like, our have-tos for the month. Again, it's winter time, so we're not going to go out and try to flip fields or anything like that. I think that kind of just is going to conclude our month of December right there, and then we'll move on to a few more January field prep tasks and getting ready for the upcoming planting season. But I think with that one, we are definitely going to call it a win for the day. Say thanks for tuning in. Remember, if you get a chance, like, share, subscribe. Subscriptions are free, but they sure do help the channel. Y'all have a great day.